All right, so back back to the story. So at this, like I said, if my mom and dad would just talk to me, would just see me, would just act normal, um, everything would have been normal. But I described the whole situation why it wasn't normal. A big part was because of my grandpa, because of it was a shoot away, it was a tragic situation and stuff. And I'm not mad at them. It's like they don't know what the frick was going on, and I really do think that my mom is traumatized. My mom and dad, they beat me up. There was horrible stuff that happened, and they don't know that it was a shoot away machine. They don't know what happened. And I think the easiest way for them to handle it is just say, oh, he was schizophrenic. So, he was mentally defective. He was a defective human being. Our abusing him was warranted. So just like one example, this was like right after, like I said, the first psych ward said I didn't have a mental illness. The doctor saw me for weeks. I didn't have a mental illness. The second one, they forced me in. The mom and dad blackmailed me. The doctor gave me the shot, but then right after that, I went to the third psych ward. The psych ward gave me the MMPI and stuff. I asked them to do that. This is before the drugs started secreting. They said I didn't have any mental illness. They wrote it all out, and they told my parents to stop trying to make me take medicine. But like apparently my dad, like right after the psych ward, he was like, my uncle told me that my uncle would later tell me that my dad was like, I just want my son back from schizophrenia. He told my uncle that, and my whole family's together, and my dad's like, I just want my son back from schizophrenia. Dude, I never had schizophrenia. It's never happened. I've never had a mental illness. And my grandpa tried to tell him. My grandpa has a PhD in psychology. He told my dad, like, he doesn't have bipolar, he doesn't have schizophrenia, he doesn't have any symptoms of any of that stuff. So, but, so anyways, then I described him in the last video. I ended up getting hurt because I wanted a first floor apartment, but I was on the second floor. My mom put me on the second floor apartment. This is like 2014. I just graduated college 2013. I had a bachelor's degree in psychology. And so she put me in the second floor apartment, but I want to be on the first floor so I could work out. Like I said, I was playing some basketball with some people, like with some churches, and some of the people at the church were like, dude, you're going to have to play professional basketball. But the problem was, like, even then, my shot was still messed up because I hadn't fixed it yet. I hadn't really studied the videos in depth. I didn't even know that I could fix it. Only when I was playing with Compton College, I really like started studying the videos in depth and started trying to duplicate what I saw in the videos. And then I started to fix my shot. And I started to shoot a lot better. But still, I would like to have more videos so I could study more. But at this point, my mom so I wanted a first floor apartment. And even my grandpa was like, yeah, probably a good idea for you to have a first floor apartment. But my mom, because remember, she's stuck in the past. She's stuck in the high school time with the shoot away machine when my shot got messed up and when there was fighting. And at that time, my mom, my dad wanted to fix my shot. He would tell me to, go keep shooting. But I didn't know I was shooting wrong because of the shoot away machine. And my dad would be frustrated, and then he'd go in, and then we'd get in a fight. I'd say, Dad, come on, please, help me fix my shot. And then he'd be like, I give up, you suck. And then there would be a fight. He'd beat me up. You're going to ask me again. And it was just like a tragic, horrible situation. Now, so my mom at this point, she's still stuck in that, and she thinks that there was something wrong with me. Remember when I tried to tell my mom, but I wasn't allowed to talk about the past because my grandpa had come up with that rule, no talking about the past. But I never talked about the past, and I was cool with that rule. But then, I was trying to tell my mom. My mom was like, your dad's not, he doesn't want to talk to you because of the past, of how horrible you were and stuff. It was because of the shoot away machine. If it wasn't for the shoot away machine, none of that stuff would have happened. So I'm trying to explain to my mom. I tried to tell her about it, and then she said, no, it wasn't because of the shoot away machine. It was because you were mentally ill and you couldn't handle the pressure. You became mentally ill and your shot fell apart and your game fell apart. It wasn't because of the shoot away machine. So, she's dehumanized me. She thinks that I'm defective. And like I said, I think the reason why she wants to believe that is because they beat me up. There was a lot of trauma that happened. And they want to tell themselves, oh, it wasn't our faults. It wasn't because of the shoot away machine. And I'm not trying to say it was their faults. They wanted what was best. They thought the shoot away machine would be a good thing. But I know I can go into details. I wish that I don't want to make good shooters think. But I can go into details exactly. I was picking the ball up, running straight forward in games, shooting it. Not how good shooters shoot. Good shooters, they do certain things. And you can't do it with the shooting machine. I can show you what good shooters do. And with the shooting machine, it messes that up. It messed me up. So, anyways, so I'm trying to, I wanted a first floor apartment so I could start working out because I got that shot and I had a tardive dyskinesia. I had nerve damage and stuff, and I wanted to get this stuff out of my system. And being on the second floor, I'm way too much noise for the people below me. So, I can't really warm up. So, and my mom was like, no, you just want to get what you want. You just want to get what you want. you don't really care about the first floor. You just want to get what you want. I gave you a second floor apartment. Now you're upset. You want first floor. You just want to get what you want. And the reason why she's like this is the hatred and contempt she has for me is because it stems from the high school, from, you know, when my shot was messed up and I wanted my dad to help fix it, and he would always help me my whole life. He always helped me, shot me every day, but there was never any huge problem, so it wasn't a big deal. But with the shoot away, huge problems happened, and then he tried to fix it, and he didn't know, and then he started telling me to do the wrong thing, and I can show you exactly what he tried to tell me to do, and it was exactly wrong, completely wrong, 100% wrong, and it messed up my shot even more. But I felt that I needed his help. His whole life he helped me. And the reason why I was such a good shooter was because I was unconscious. And part of the reason I was unconscious was because I never needed to think, because my dad always would help me if there was any problem. But with the shooting machine, huge problems happened. And then he tried to help me, but he didn't. He told me to do the exact wrong thing. When I was younger and I was shooting right because of the way I was moving into the shot, because I didn't have a shooting machine, there was never any huge problems. So my dad would help, but it wouldn't be anything drastic. But with the shooting machine, it became drastic because I started picking the ball up, going straight forward, left foot, point. I'm not gonna go into details, but left foot in front of my right foot and a bunch of stuff like that. And then my dad tried to fix it, and then trying to make me shoot sideways mechanically, and everything deteriorated. Everything fell apart. So then I'm trying to tell my mom, can I get a second floor apartment? She's still stuck in the past. She's still remembering the shoot away stuff. You just want to get what you want. It was when I wanted help with my dad with the shoot away machine, and then my mom was like, "You just want to get what you want." And my grandpa's trying to say, "Yes, you can't always get what you want. You have to accept no for an answer sometimes. You have to accept bad calls, and you have to understand that everything is just fine." And I understand that everything is just fine. The universe is going to work itself out. Anxiety, fear, those are bad. But really, if it wasn't for the shoe machine, none of this stuff would have happened. None of the crazy stuff would have happened. But they think it was something wrong with me. So she's still mad about that time, and she still thinks there's something wrong with me, and she still has a contempt for me. And, I want a first floor apartment so I can work out. I even asked my grandpa. My grandpa's like, "Yeah, that's a good idea. You should have a first floor apartment so you can work out because you have nerve damage." My mom was like, it's not that bad. You're just dramatic. No, it was really bad. I had a very bad damage from that drug. But my mom's like, "Oh, no, it's not that bad. Oh, you're just being dramatic. Oh, you just want to get what you want." Of course I want to get what I want, because what I want is important. I mean, it's for an important reason. It's a good reason. But she's still stuck in the past. She still has contempt. And she's still thinking about when I wanted help with the shoot-away machine. And, "Oh, you just want to get what you want. You need to accept bad calls." Okay? So, and as I thought would happen, I didn't warm up because I didn't want to make noise for the person below me. I started doing lunges, and I hurt my knee. And so then I went to my grandma's house in Los Angeles, and I went to my grandpa's house for a little bit. And and I had a really bad hurt knee, and I wanted to get my knee helped. So I started asking my mom. I said, "Mom, can I talk to Dad?" Because my dad's a doctor. I was like, "Can I talk to Dad because I need help because I hurt my knee?" Mom was like, "Oh, you just hurt your hamstring. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a hamstring injury. Just do bike, do bikes, go to the gym and do the bike, and you're fine. It's not a hamstring injury. It's a tendon injury." My mom always thought I had a hamstring injury in my left leg. It's not. It's a tendon. That's why I probably never got helped. It was never a hamstring, so she doesn't know what she's talking about. But she's like, "No, you're fine." And she told me, "And your dad is never gonna talk to you. Get that through your head. It's never gonna happen. Your dad hates you. He's never gonna talk to you. Get that through your head. You need to accept no for an answer. Your dad's not going to talk to you." Because remember, she's still stuck in the past with the shoot away machine. And remember, you have to accept no for an answer. Because my grandpa's right. Sometimes it's important for people to accept no for an answer, but they think that I have like a mental issues, and I'm a type of person who never accepts no for an answer. No, it was the shoot away machine messed up things up. I would have been doing great if it wasn't for the shoot away machine. I would have been a star with basketball. If you look at, even when I had the shooting machine, I was still automatic. I was still doing amazing stuff, but my shot got destroyed, and it messed me up. And then my dad tried to fix it, and then he tried to fix this, and then everything just deteriorated from there. Because my dad, and then it just was chaotic. It was just horrible, right? But it was probably just a shooting machine. If it wasn't for the shooting machine, none of that stuff would have happened. But my mom is still stuck in that time, and she doesn't know it's a shooting machine, so she's thinking, "No, it was you. You were the problem," and she still thinks I have a problem. So she's like, "No, you have to accept that. You have to accept that your dad's never going to talk to you. You have to accept that. You have to accept that." because, my grandpa was like, oh, well, Ryan, you have to learn when in high school when the shooting machine messed up my shot. Oh, you have to learn to accept bad calls. Your dad doesn't want to go to your games right now. Your dad doesn't want to shoot with you anymore. Well, if it's a bad call, well, you have to learn to accept bad calls. So my mom just parrots it. She just parrots it, and she still has a contempt for me at this point. This is like 2014. So like I said, I just graduated college in 2013. I had a bachelor's degree. So, I need help. Now I have a hurt leg. But I'm like, Mom, I have this leg is really badly hurt. I already have a hurt left leg. Dad can help me out. Can I talk to Dad? Can I see Dad? No, he's never going to see you for the rest of your life. But she never really talked to me. Like, she would just hang up on me. She would say that, and then she'd hang up on me. So if I even got a hold of her, most of the time she wouldn't even answer the phone. So at this point, I needed help. So, and then I asked my grandma, can you get me to a doctor that can help me? Because again, I never done this stuff before. I just got out of college. I never been to doctors and stuff. I didn't know how to get help. So my grandma starts calling a orthopedic surgeon. But every time I asked my grandma, so what did they say? And my grandma's like, no, they can't help you. They said it's going to take a while. It might take months. And then every time, so I'm like, how much longer? No, they can't help you. Sorry. And then finally I go online and I look up orthopedic surgeon and I call them and they say, is it emergency? I say yes. And they're like, okay, well, the orthopedic surgeon can see you tomorrow. And I asked my grandma, you've been calling for months. And every time you say the orthopedic surgeon, he doesn't have any room. And is it because every time when they asked, is it emergency, did you say no? And she was like, yeah, I kept saying no because it's not an emergency. So then I got upset with my grandma and I started to yell, and I was like, if I could just get some help, if Dad would just be helping me, if people could just help me, then I wouldn't have these problems. I needed to be able to talk to Mom and Dad. And then my grandma got upset, and then she kicked me out of the house. Or she called the next door neighbor, and then the next door neighbor was like, you need to get out of the house. You belong in a psych ward. You have a mental illness. Remember, my grandma's Jewish next door neighbor who didn't like me because I had become a right winger, right? And all that stuff. And she didn't know the story. Nobody knew what was going on. People assume, they're going to assume that I'm the bad guy because they're going to think, oh, your parents are probably the good guy. No, they don't know the whole story. They don't know what's going on. So then I go back to San Diego and I have this hurt knee and I need help. So basically that's the situation at this point. And I'm going to get more into details about this, but I'll talk about it more in the next story or the next lecture.